Hey there, Creephappens again, and I have a new narration for you by the storyteller. I'll keep the intro short so we can get right into the work, so here goes. But first, I want you to turn off the lights, close your eyes, and turn up the volume. I don't really know where to put this, or how to start it. I guess I should start with my name, right? Jeffrey, psych major, recently unemployed. Hi. You're probably wondering why I'm writing this, assuming I haven't chickened out halfway through. I guess there's no way to really sugarcoat this. If you're anywhere in the US, I think you're gonna die. Let me explain. I worked, at a psychiatric hospital in Maine. Obviously, I can't tell you the name, but with a quick Google, you can probably find one that closed its doors recently. If you can't, well, that means he is as smart as I thought. Everything bad that's been happening started when we took our newest patient. We don't get many, you see, as we tend to be the last resort. If nowhere else can contain or control them, the crazies get bundled into an armored car and taken here. We have everything. Armored doors, trained staff, therapists with decades of experience, ex-military guards, every med dreamed up by crackpot scientists, you name it, we probably have it somewhere. I had to sign something like 7 non-disclosure agreements just to get an interview. The only reason I got in is one of my friends is on the hiring team. He slipped a few recommendations to higher ups. I think he's dead now. Back to the topic at hand. The patient. Well, I call him that. Everybody here are honestly just well-treated prisoners. With the things they've done and what's wrong with them, they're never getting out. I've seen it all within these grounds. Serial killers, rapists, people who short out their own brains when they talk, people who can't even see when how screwed up the wiring is up there, ones that can never stop laughing, ones that can never stop screaming, bipolar so bad they try to tear themselves apart, schizophrenia to the point they think the real world is just a hallucination, people who use femurs as drumsticks and not other people's. I could go on for hours about the shit I've seen in this hospital, and none of it is treatable. If it was treatable, they wouldn't be here. Our job is to sedate, calm, and make sure they don't hurt anyone. We called the new guy Mr. Smiley. Real original, I know, but it fit him. See, he had this mask. Nobody could figure out what it was made of, because nobody could get him to take it off. There were 2 eye holes punched in it, and a great grin that stretched across his face, cheek to cheek. The teeth were sharpened, and the rest of it was impeccably white. To me, it looked like bone. Polished bone. How they got him in the truck, I don't know. The first time we tried to get that mask off, we used our bog standard basic level 1 on the danger meter. See, he didn't seem that threatening to us. The government said he was a serial killer, 40 men and women under his belt. But we just didn't see it. Idiots. I suppose it wasn't our fault. He acted like a 5-year-old. I'm being serious. The fascination with drawing, the weird half-speech, the tottering walk. We figured the poor guy just had an extreme disability and happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. We lost that notion pretty quick. Well, he might have acted like a child, but he sure as hell didn't have the strength of one. He tore through those mattresses like styrofoam and tossed our guards around like rag dolls. We shot a tranq dart in his shoulder, level 2 on the danger meter, and that slowed him down long enough for them to slam the door shut. Surprisingly, he didn't pursue, just went right back to acting like a toddler. One of the therapists thought he might have split personality disorder, which would explain the berserk mode. I guess I should tell you what Mr. Smiley looked like, huh? He was big, 7 foot at least. Nobody ever bothered to measure. Not lanky or anorexic tall either. We have our share of those. He was muscled, bulky, with a tattered t-shirt and jeans. Never got those off him either. And his skin was this veiny purple. He looked like someone injected him with grape juice. The higher-ups were going crazy at us to figure out what was wrong with him, but we couldn't use force. That became clear after he shrugged off the taser. So, we tried reasoning. This was frustrating, at best. Ever tried convincing a 5-year-old to do anything if they're not interested? Yeah, well, he was about as interested in us as a particular bit of wall. Finally, after 3 months of upgrading his security again and again, he nearly busted through his steel door, shut off the power by punching 3 inches into a wall to get the wires. We couldn't move them. So the builders just built a better door. Over and over. Gotta say, I respect the guys. One would keep Mr. Smiley distracted with a truck or a toy or something, while the others would get to work. Eventually, Smiley would get bored, and that's when they had to get out. Anyway, we finally got him to agree to let us sedate him if we gave him a crayon. A red crayon. Crazy, right? Well, nobody wanted to go in, give it to him. None of us knew what he looked like, or whether he would remember about the agreement. Only one guy volunteered. His name was Steve. 70-year-old or something like that. I don't really know why he worked here. The guy hated doctors. His wife died because of a botched diagnosis. He would never tell us what it was. He absolutely refused to even go to a checkup in his last 20 years. Well, he went in. Smiley just looked at him, and he said something that chills me, even now. He said,
"You should have gone to the doctor."
There was no childlike tone in his voice, no 5-year-old stutter, just something terribly cold. Steve stared back, and then he just keeled over. We all freaked, thinking Smiley had done something to him. But he just stood there, with those dead eyes. Turns out, old Steve had a brain aneurysm, right in the middle of his head. I'm told the watered-down version is his brain just pulped itself. Instant death. Nothing that could have been done. But Smiley knew. He knew Steve was gonna die. I don't know how. I still don't. What none of us noticed is the big guy got his crayon, picked it up off the floor when we carted off our co-worker. Next shift I was on, alarms started blaring. Mr. Smiley was out. I ran to the camera room, where the guard was swearing his head off. A crayon! He picked the lock with a fucking crayon! I burst through the door and saw what he was talking about. The heavy-duty door, the one the builders had put in, it wasn't standard format. It had a 2-way lock. There was a shaved-down red crayon sticking out of Smiley's side. I grabbed for the controls and flicked through the cameras, trying not to look at the bodies, the stains on the walls, trying to find our escapee. I found him on the floor above where he should be, and he was sprinting. Our guard was shouting on the far end of the hall. At least I think he was. Most of our cameras didn't get a sound. He had his gun out, aimed at that thing running down the hall. How he kept his cool, I don't know. I would have been peeing myself. Once Smiley was within range, the guard fired. I expected to see him fall. I expected him to die. We had to shoot a few of our patients, but trust me, we don't want to. It was the last resort of last resorts. But judging by the bodies in the other corridors, I don't think anything else worked. The fucker did not even slow down. He rammed into the poor guy like a truck. Both hit the wall, and Smiley just took him apart. After less than a second, there wasn't much more than a bloody stain on the ground. The guard next to me freaked the hell out, screaming and cursing like a sailor. Smiley's head jerked, and he slammed his fist into the wall next to him. All at once, sound burst into our little room, sending us both with our hands wrapped around our ears at the screams of our patients, and the ones Smiley's left behind bounced around and amplified. The guard was still yelling his head off until Smiley looked right at us, right at the damn cameras.
"Shut up."
Both of us went very, very still. I think we realized then that we weren't safe up here. This thing wasn't gonna stop, and the only way to the outside world was past him. For an hour, we watched him tear our hospital to shreds. Every patient, every therapist, every guard, and every doctor. Murdered, sleeping, awake, begging, fighting. Didn't matter. Nothing slowed him down. Nothing stopped him. Barricades, bullets, tables, doors, hell, even walls. He just tore through them all like tissue paper. One of the doctors managed to get about 3 doors between him and Mr. Smiley. Took the thing 5 minutes to open them. He came up to the camera room. It's on the top floor, so we had quite a while to think about it. The guard was just whimpering at that point. Smiley crushed his head. And he crouched down in front of me with his blood-stained mask. Touched 2 fingers just above the bridge of my nose, you know. He showed me something. Something terrible. It was an angel. An angel made of bone, standing in an infinite plane of burned, cracked rock. Wings that stretched across the sky. Carvings inlaid in its porcelain skin that just leaped. I don't want to remember this. I don't want to write this. Just go away. God, go away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Don't make me tell them. Don't make me tell them. Don't make me tell them. Don't make me break them too. I don't know what he's done to me. I think I'm dying. There's something inside me. Something growing. I feel its spikes. Its structure. Run. All of you. Run away. Run before Mr. Smiley comes knocking at your door. So, what did you think? Creepy, right? This is part 1 of a 3-part story from the storyteller. I have linked his stories and his Amazon link for his story below. I really suggest checking him out and ordering his story for your Kindle. It's a damn good story for $3 and supports a good author. I know, I keep asking, but really, send me your links to your stories you want to hear. I'll reach out to the author and I'll get the permission and do the work. I'm going to completely narrate Mr. Smiley, the Bone Angel, and then it's on to next work. I just need ideas of what that will be, and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening to my narration. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share me with your friends. As well, you can add me on Facebook or Twitter, links provided below, and leave me a shout out there. That's all I got for this update. Well, almost. Oh yeah, as you can probably hear, I got a new mic and way less background noise. I'll probably work on re-recording what I read, but that's gonna be a slow process because, well, I'm lazy. But like the zombie apocalypse, it will happen. Eventually. Stay tuned for those. And my new works.